Hello, my name is Danny Peralta, aka Diver Girl Art, and I am an artist from New York City, currently residing in Northern California. And today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be making a diorama, a very creepy diorama. The base we're going to be working off of is this Make Market miniature book nook. And today's theme is going to be a creepy cryptid known as the Black-Eyed Kid. Let's get into assembling this and see how it goes together so I can figure out how to paint it. All right, first things first, let's get this thing out of the box and see how it goes together. Pretty simple. It all pretty much just snaps together pretty easily. Alright, and here's what we're working with. First step is going to be to work on these walls. And the first thing I'm going to do is a tiny little wallpaper job using this vintage looking paper. I'm going to be using a mixture of spray glue and Mod Podge. Now I'm going to add a little trim. It's going to be a two-tone wall with the wallpaper on top and a piece of trim separating a solid blue wall. Give it a sort of dark and dreary look to this apartment building hallway that we're making. Now onto the door. We're going to go with a dark red. I got this tiny door from Hobby Lobby actually. Now we're going to go ahead and paint this dollar store doll that I got. I'm going to be painting her a very sort of dead person gray with a solid black dress, just to look as unsettling as possible. I know this story is inspired by the black-eyed kid, and as you can see, I'm painting the eyes white, but I just think it looks creepier for the model. What can I say? Sue me.
Jess had been living in apartment 9 for a few weeks, trying to adjust to life in the city. The building was old, the kind that groaned and creaked with every gust of wind, but it was cheap and close to her job. Tonight, she was curled up on her thrifted couch, a cup of sleepy time tea in her hands. When the knock came, 3 soft, deliberate knocks echoed through the narrow hallway. Jess frowned and glanced at the clock. 11:47 p.m. She wasn't expecting anyone, and her neighbors usually kept to themselves. The first knock was soft, almost imperceptible against the backdrop of the wind. Jess dismissed it as the creaking of the old house, but then came a second knock, louder this time. Her heart skipped a beat. It was nearly midnight, and she wasn't expecting anyone. Rising cautiously, she walked to the door and peered through the peephole. It was a child, a little girl, no older than 9 or 10. She wore a black hoodie, the hood pulled up against the cold. Her head was tilted down, hiding her face from view. Jess hesitated, her fingers brushing the cold doorknob. Who would let their child wander alone at this hour?
Hello?
She called through the door.
Are you okay?
The girl's voice was soft and monotone when she replied.
May I come in? I need to use the phone.
Something about her tone made her uneasy.
Where are your parents? Are you lost?
Please,
She said, ignoring her question.
let me in.
The wind picked up, rattling the windows. Jess's unease deepened. She bent slightly to get a better look through the peephole. That's when she saw them, her eyes. They were pitch black, devoid of whites, irises, or pupils. Just 2 endless voids staring back at her. A shiver ran down her spine. She stumbled back from the door, her breathing quickening.
I can't let you in.
She stammered. The girl knocked again, harder this time.
Please,
She said, her voice growing colder, more insistent.
I can't come in unless you invite me. Just open the door.
Her mind raced. She had heard stories, urban legends about black-eyed children. They would appear unexpectedly, always asking to be let inside. People who gave in were never seen or heard from again. The knocking grew louder, more relentless. The girl's voice rose above the wind, now eerily calm despite the intensity of her knocking.
It's cold out here. You have to let me in.
No.
She shouted, backing away further.
Let me in.
The girl said again, her voice unnervingly clear through the door. Jess backed away, clutching her phone like a lifeline. She turned and ran to her bedroom, locking the door behind her.
Let me in.
The girl's voice came again, softer this time, but somehow even more chilling. Jess pressed her back against the far wall, her breathing ragged. She didn't respond, didn't dare move. Suddenly, the noise stopped. Silence fell over the apartment like a heavy blanket. The only sound was the faint hum of the city outside her window. Jess held her breath. Slowly, she crept toward the door and peeked through the peephole again. When Jess finally gathered the courage to open her front door, the hallway was empty. But on the floor, just outside the threshold, lay a single child-sized handprint. It was smudged with something black and oily, and it hadn't been there before. The girl was gone. Relief flooded her for a moment, but it was short-lived. As she turned to head back inside, the power went out. And she could hear a voice behind her.
All right, we got our creepy tale laid out and ready to finish up this diorama. And now we're gonna move on to some weathering, make it look older and creepier, a little more lived in. So let's go ahead and cut to the rest of the work. Now we're gonna work on weathering these walls, make it look old and lived in. And the setting to our tale, apartment number 9, where Jess first heard that knock at the door. Creepy blue atmospheric light. But I'll show that later. To apply the covers to our story. I made these and printed them out on label paper just to make the process a little easier. right, and there you have it, the Black-Eyed Kid book nook. I love how this thing turned out with the cover and the very, very creepy style. I guess we'll call it a white-eyed kid because technically I did paint the eyes white just because I thought it looked a little bit creepier and made them stand out. Complete with lighting. I think it turned out awesome. Love it. Can't wait to put it on the bookshelf. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Go to my website, divergirlart.com, for any t-shirts, prints, merch. I got a bunch of cool stuff up there, adding stuff all the time. I'm switching to every 2 weeks for this video because they're just an incredible amount of work. And I'm only one person with a budget of nothing. So I hope the few people watching this are enjoying them and I can continue to grow this little community into something special. Anyway, see you on the next one. Thanks again.